Hey, so I've been thinking about the fact that I tend to be overly giving, overly generous. And I've been reflecting on the fact that as a woman, especially a woman of color, growing up in a sexist and racist society, and yes, that is my experience growing up here in the US. There are these messages, there are these norms, there are these societal constructs that are put on women to be a helping hand, to be kind, to be generous. And I'm not saying that generosity or kindness are problems. Those are good. Those are very good values. But what I am realizing is how deep the programming goes within me. And maybe it goes deep within you too. I have done things like literally contemplated taking out, uh, helping pay off an elderly neighbor's debt who I didn't really know, that well at the time. Luckily, I had some family members talk me out of that. Thank you, cuz. Anyway, I've offered to lend my car, to somebody that is lukewarm nice to me. And I'm like, why do I do these things? Like a trained monkey, right? Like why is this so automatic? And is this something I still want? And the truth is no, I don't want to. I don't want to be unconsciously giving of my time, my energy, my resources to anyone anymore. But it's funny when you, even though I have this knowing and this desire, this realization, I am also realizing that making the decision is one thing. It's very important. Like, no, this is not what I want. This is not how I want to show up. It's not how I want to behave anymore. That decision point is very important. But it is going to take some time to get out of the habit. So even though this idea of being so overly generous, so overly giving of myself, my resources, whatever, doesn't serve me, right? It's left me depleted. It's left me scrambling. It's hurt me in many ways. It's left me poorer in many circumstances. It's made me say yes to commitments and then, or say yes to things and then I'm left with the bag trying to figure out how to fix it, how to make it work, how to, whatever, so that I can honor the commitment that I put, I can honor a situation that I put myself in. So it's the automatic, yes, the automatic overgiving, the automatic generosity without full contemplation that I'm saying is not good. It is a disservice to ourselves. It is self-betrayal. I have betrayed myself on too many occasions. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. But I also have to have some grace with myself because it is such an ingrained habit. because it's so knee jerk in me, see somebody in trouble and automatically want to just go in and fix it or help or whatever, do whatever I can to help, right? Damn hero complex. Anywho, it's gonna take me a little bit. I'm gonna falter sometimes. A couple of months ago during one of my meditations, I realized that each person has multiple layers of consciousness that make up the individual. So I think initially I thought that all consciousness was like, oh, my spirit, like my soul, if you will, and that was it. But then I realized that my body has its own consciousness, its own intelligence. My mind, my intellect, my logic, it has its own consciousness. My emotions have its own consciousness. The emotions one I didn't realize right away. That came in a later meditation or a later process. But in realizing that there are essentially different layers of consciousness and that they might not be in alignment with each other, that means that when you're trying to make a change, this is part of the reason why people fail at their goals or at making a change last. It's not because they don't have willpower or they don't have the stamina or whatever. It's because there isn't full alignment. I'm going to give you an example from like my weight journey. So, I had put on 30 pounds in 1 year. It was a very, very traumatic year. There was so much pain, so much loss, so much hurt, so much change. I had failed IVF. My dad died. I took on a high-level position. It required me to move to a state that I had never lived in and where I didn't know anyone. My marriage was going through some big challenges. And, my body consciousness, it had this desire to keep me safe. And so what it did was all the toxic energy, the grief, the sadness, the hurt, the anger, the pain, the confusion, all of the things that triggered my cortisol levels and triggered my my fight or flight reactions, they were overwhelming my body. And my body did the best it could to process all of that energy. And what it did was it stored this toxicity, this toxic energy into fat cells, away from my vital organs, away, it was trying to protect me. My mind also trying to protect me, but my mind's way of protecting me was, to scare me a little bit, like, oh, be careful. Oh, you got to take care of all these things. You got to handle this. You got to do that. Which was doing what? It's just adding more stuff, energy for my body to process and deal with. So even though like my spirit, my soul, that consciousness is like, yeah, we want to live a good life and be healthy and all this stuff. And my mind Also, yeah, I want her to be safe and healthy, like, and my body also wants that. Like, even though all of these levels of individual consciousness want essentially or have the same goal, so to speak. Hey, let's keep Anne happy and safe and healthy. Even though they all had the same goal, their tactics, their approaches were vastly different and sometimes impeding the other. So I had to do a meditation where I invited my, like I could see, or you can imagine an image for each of your consciousness, or in a meditative state, if you ask to connect with it, you might get an image, you might get a sensation, something that gives you a sense of what these consciousness are, con- what it is. And so I had this session within myself, like in my meditation, where my mind consciousness, which basically looked like a big brain, frankly, with eyeballs and legs, and my body consciousness, which looked like a 700-pound person, um, from all the weight that she was carrying and holding on to, and that didn't show up in my, all of that weight did not show up in my physical form, but in the consciousness, like she was really um like absorbing a lot. So I had them kind of connect. I had to have every piece of me be in alignment so that I can start creating some changes. And it's still a work in progress, but I think that is something that makes things easier and um, to achieving your goals, to achieving the lasting change that you want, the results that you want. So that was a little bit of a tangent. Uh, I guess my point in sharing that is I'm probably going to have to do the same thing now, is now that I'm discovering that I have this automatic response to help, to give the shirt off my back, whatever. I got to pull back, and I am going to have to get my emotional consciousness, mind consciousness, body consciousness, and my soul to not just agree on the goal, but to agree and be in alignment with the strategy so that they're not obstructing one another, sabotaging, self-sabotaging, right? As a result. So, anyway, I share this because maybe there's something you are doing automatically without thinking about it. Maybe you feel like, well, I'm a good person and this is what good people do. I have adopted the identity of a good person, and this is what a good person does. They help. Okay. All I'm saying is it's time to shine a light and be very conscious, very intentional, very deliberate about what you're doing and why are you really doing it? Why are you doing it? And does it serve you? It could have been something you started a long time ago, and maybe it did serve you at one point. I think being a people pleaser, taking care of others, served me. I love people, and I like to see people happy and healthy and thriving. But I did it at my own expense too often. And so now it's just giving me a chance to pause and figure out, okay, where do I go from here? What do I do? What do I really want? What would serve me better at this juncture? Because in the past, it served me. It served me. It helped me fit in. It helped me survive male-dominated, white-dominated, straight-dominated environments. It helped me to get along with everybody. But it came at big prices. It came with me being so disconnected from my truth that I'm really just starting to find deeper layers of who I really am. Yeah. So the healing journey, or as my favorite therapist calls it, AFGO, another effing growth opportunity. Yeah, it can be challenging, which is probably why so many people avoid it and don't do it. But I know somewhere deep inside of me that there's true liberation, true freedom in this. I'm not quite there yet. Like I haven't cracked the code yet, but I can feel it. Like I can feel that I'm close. And when I do, I'm going to share it with you because I want you to be liberated. I want you to be authentically you. I want you to be unapologetically you. But I want you to do it consciously, not by default. You know, not in reaction, not based on the training that you've had, but based on what's real for you. Because you're worth it. The real you is worth it. The real us, who we really are, we're worth it. Discovering that is worth it. Loving all that it is, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of whether or not it fits the paradigms, the norms. It's worth it. I love you. And I hope and I trust that there's something in this message for you. Bye.